the essential question of this chapter, chapter 1, is how do I think like an economist? This particular lesson is chapter 1, section 2 and 3. Everybody has their notes. The first thing we're going to talk about is economic enigmas. Enigma is kind of a funny word, but what it means is a puzzle or a riddle that might be explained through economic analysis. We talk about, and I will give you a handout on a couple of economic enigmas later, but it's sort of like why do we pay so much money for popcorn at a movie theater when you pay $10 for a thing of popcorn when if you made it at home it cost you 10 cents? Or why does the bride buy their wedding gown but the groom rents his wedding clothes? These are they're just sort of puzzles and riddles that might be explained through economic analysis. What is economics all about? Well, economics, they're talking about resources. Resources are everything that can be used to make something else, make a product. But also resources can be things like money. And these things are scarce because there's only a finite amount of them. There's only a finite amount of oil or certain types of minerals or coal. So you have a finite amount of resources, but you have unlimited wants. I mean, there's never a point where people don't want something. You want something more. So people's wants, you need to be writing this down. People's wants are unlimited, but the resources are limited. So in order to study this, economists have divided the study of how to use resources into two different branches of economics. If you end up going and getting like a college degree, you will be taking these two branches of economics as part of your degree. The first one is macroeconomics. You can see this. Macroeconomics focuses on the workings of an economy as a whole. So it's looking at the whole economy of the United States. That's macro. It's the big picture. And the opposite of that, of macroeconomics, is, does everybody have this? Okay, and the other branch is microeconomics. And that's looking at the economy or economic decision making on a much smaller scale. How do you make decisions in your own house as far as spending money? Okay, how do individual businesses decide how to make these economic decisions? So macro is the whole picture, like the whole economy. Micro is a much smaller scale. Do you have this?
Yeah.
Everybody have this? All right. So when you have a finite amount of resources, and you have infinite wants, you have to make choices. Okay? Today, I don't know however much money you have in your pocket. If you want to go to the school store, you know, if you only have a couple bucks, then and you want 4 or 5 things, you're going to have to make a choice. Because you can't always get everything you want. Even if you are Bill Gates and have all the money in the world, you know, he might be able to buy anything he wants to, but he can't, you know, you still can't buy time or, you know, family or friends or those kinds of things. I know, so no matter who you are, you can't get everything you want. So you do have to start making some choices. What is more important to me? I'm going to choose one thing over another. And there's a couple ways to make those choices. The first is positive economics. Positive economics is when you gather all the facts and then you analyze them. In Debbie's economics class, there are 9 girls and 10 boys. Okay, that's a fact. 40% came from Marine City, 40% or 50% came from St. Clair, 10% from other districts. These are facts that I can analyze. Okay? Positive economics describes how things are. This is the way it is. You know, 9 girls, 10 boys, you know, 80% come from in-district or 90%, 10% come from out-of-district. I can look at these facts and I can, you know, I can do some sort of analysis or do some kind of statistics or use them. As versus normative economics, which also gathers facts, but then makes a recommendation. If we're only getting 10% of our students from out of district, this is what I think we should do to get more students from Marysville or Algonac. So you're actually making some sort of recommendation about what you think is the best way to go. So when you see this on a test, you know, you need to know the difference between them. Positive describes things as they are with just facts. Normative describes how they ought to be. Okay? This is the way it ought to be done.
Did you hit that, turn it off?